In today's news, permission to appeal interim stay on proceedings granted in BVI same-sex marriage case. Honorable Marlon A. Penn responds to comments on his readiness to be premier. Domestic violence is said to be on the rise in the BVI. Orientation for new board members of the BVI Tourist Board takes place. And on the regional scene, Liat International formed following MOU between Antigua Government and a private business. In addition to that, we see where agriculture and fisheries officials in the Virgin Islands are inspired at conference to improve agriculture sector. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Jos Van Dyke, not forgetting Antigua. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
The wait is over! CCT Fire is here! Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire, bring it home and upgrade today.
Welcome everybody. It's Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. I'm Ron Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. A happy Wednesday to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene here in the Virgin Islands. The Court of Appeal has halted proceedings and granted the BVI Christian Council permission to appeal a recent judgment in the Kenesha Forbes versus the Attorney General case. The appeal was granted by Justice Jared Ferrara. The judgment being appealed was made by Justice Adrian Jack on a request for adjournment filed by Attorney General Don Smith. Smith claimed that the adjournment was necessary because her chambers was facing several difficulties, including dealing with the aftermath of the arrest of former premier in Miami and publication of the report of the Commission of Inquiry and the implementation of framework made between the BVI and the British government following the report of the Commission of Inquiry, and difficulty obtaining instructions from its client, the National Unity Government. Now, in his judgment, Justice Jack weighed the considerations of the AG's claim. He argued that on March 10, 2021, the AG was able to indicate that the government had intended to oppose the claims against them, meaning that she, and I quote, obviously had sufficient instructions at that stage to serve her acknowledgement of service. Jack said that it is unclear to him what facts of the case would have changed since that point, and what further instructions would be required by the AG in order to move forward. He noted that even the Cabinet's recent decision on the matter on August 22nd was merely a confirmation by the government of the aforementioned position determined back in March of 2021. Now, viewers, on the issue of the pressures of work on the Attorney General's chambers at this time, Justice Jack said that despite being sympathetic to this, he believed, and I quote, it is for the respondent to organize her resources to deal with cases to which she is a party. Notwithstanding the explanations provided for his decision to refuse the request for adjournment, Jack noted that the mere lateness of the application, which was filed just days before the matter was due to return to court on September 29th, was enough to justify a refusal. Unsatisfied with the judgment, the Christian Council filed a certificate of urgency to have the Court of Appeal expedite a decision on its readiness and halt the proceedings until an appeal hearing can take place. Now, viewers, in this judgment, Ferrara found that the Attorney General had, and I quote, a realistic prospect of success and therefore ought to be granted leave to appeal. An interim stay of proceedings pending the appeal hearing and determination of the application for adjournment was also granted. Now, the case at hand surrounds whether or not the prohibition of same-sex marriage is contrary to the Constitution of the British Virgin Islands, and it involves two local women. Continuing on, domestic violence has been on the rise in the BVI since 2016. According to recent data shared by Gender Affairs Coordinator Ms. Taurus Morgan, the territory has consistently recorded over 100 reported cases annually, with a majority of victims being women.
And from 2016, the scope, it shows that there's like a constant increase. Yes, in 2017, you may have seen a little down because, we had the storms, and because of the storm, if I was in a situation, I'm going to keep my mouth shut because, I ain't going to report it because where I'm going to go, right? And so, but over the years, you just seen the trend, and it always so happened that based on the reports from the police, the women is always like double in reports. It's always double or triple the amount of reports that's coming in. So the scope out there is that it's happening because there's never been a year, even in 2017, where we have had under 100 reports, right? And it's trending up.
In the month of October, the BVI joins the international community in observance of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. As explained by Morgan, this is a period of increased focus on understanding the issues of domestic violence and how it can be addressed.
So Domestic Violence Awareness Month is the month in which we try to bring awareness to the issue of domestic violence. It is not the only month in which we talk about it, but it's a month in which we highlight it. We bring a special light to the issue of domestic violence, right? So for this year, like every other year, the mission is to get the word out to as many persons as we can around the territory. And even if persons want to listen in from outside of the territory, for persons to know what it is, how is it you can deal with it, and what is there for you, what can be there to help you.
Morgan explained that a key aspect of understanding the issue is knowing exactly what domestic violence is, as too often persons tend to unknowingly limit the issue only to intimate partner violence.
Okay, so domestic violence is any act of intimidation that's brought against somebody, or violent act that's brought against somebody, which is normally related to somebody trying to achieve power over the other person. Specifically to the BVI, when we speak about domestic violence, we refer to persons when this happens to persons who are family members, intimate partner. So a lot of persons will sometimes exchange domestic violence for intimate partner violence, but it's more than that. So if it's for family members, so it could be violence against your grandmother, a child in the household, or among parents in the household. They don't have to be married. They don't have to be in a relationship, because it can be persons who are just cohabiting.
Morgan also noted that the issue of domestic violence is also very broad in the manners of which it can be manifested, ranging from physical and sexual abuse to emotional abuse, psychological abuse, and economical abuse as well. Viewers, when 284 News returns, Penn, Honorable Marlon A. Penn, that is, responds to comments on his readiness to be premier. Orientation for the new board members of the BVI Tourist Board takes place. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Viewers, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. While discussions surrounding the territory's uncertain political future continue, Honorable Marlon Penn says he, for one, has no interest in entertaining the rhetoric on his place in this matter. During a guest appearance on Tola Radio, Penn was urged to break his silence on the recent statements made by talk show host Claude Skelton-Klein in his edition of Honestly Speaking. Klein said that despite being a good representative, he did not believe Penn was quite ready to serve as premier of the BVI and that Penn had areas that needed to be strengthened before such could be considered. Klein expressed several views on the territory's political landscape, including stating that he believed that the BVI had already made up its mind about the leadership coming out of the National Democratic Party, of which Penn is a member. Seemingly taking a direct jab at Klein, Penn shared his sentiments.
And I'm wary of those persons who come and say they're speaking on behalf of the public. I mean, all you have to do is check their own personal track record. You'll see,
shots fired.
And you'll see who they're speaking on behalf of.
Honorable Marlon Penn, Minister for Health, also went on to say that he need not defend himself from the opinions of others, as his reputation spoke volumes on its own. He also shared a brief glimpse into his vision of how the territory should be led moving forward.
And at the end of the day, my record is going to speak for itself, Damien Heritage Public. Right. Wherever I've been, I've left where I was better than I was. I am a man that is focused on empowerment of people, empowerment of my territory. I think we have assembling a group of young men and women who have the capacity to do this, to move this country forward. And I think the reality is that we have to focus on the people. We need a people-centric approach to leading this country.
Ultimately, however, Penn said that each person has the right to express their own democratic views.
Live in a democracy, Damon.
Right.
And persons have a right to express their democratic view. And I will never try to infringe on anyone's democratic view.
Thank God for that.
On their perspective in terms of what they bring forward. But
it's a new day for tourism in the Virgin Islands as the newly appointed board members of the BVI Tourist Board met for their first meeting in an official orientation on Monday, October 3rd. Members of the new board were chosen through an application process where they were interviewed and later recommended and appointed by Cabinet. Board members include representatives from each of the 4 main islands and are individuals who possess leadership skills, training, and experience in various tourism industry sectors, including small hotel villas, large hotels, marine association, taxi and livery services, tour operators, cruise, marine activity, entertainment, cultural activity, entertainment, and nightlife and bars. The new group began its new appointment with an orientation session to provide them with an opportunity to share with the Premier of the Virgin Islands in his vision for tourism, as well as to be equipped with the necessary information to get the job started. Premier and Minister for Tourism, Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley, sent out a resounding message to the new board to approach the Virgin Islands tourism product with innovation and a high level of seriousness. He said, and I quote, "Tourism is everyone's business, and I am looking forward for a collaborative effort with all of us playing our respective roles and responsibilities in this new tourist board." And he said, "I am grateful that you have agreed to serve." He said, as the territory goes through the process of reform, let us take the opportunity to think about how we have been doing things and work on improving them. Let us combine our ideas in ensuring that the BVI tourism product remains top-notch as we continue to offer our guests the unique Virgin Islands experience. Now the Premier encouraged. Junior Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Alvin Maduro Keynes, and 6th District Representative joined her voice in stressing the importance of working together to ensure success in the competitive tourism arena. She appealed to the new board members to join forces with the frontline office, such as the Immigration and Customs Department, to remain customer service friendly, adequately trained, and sharp in order to give visitors that first and lasting impression. Honorable Keynes said, and I quote, "We must come up with a plan to involve our frontline workers, from immigration to customs, and our taxi drivers. This is an area which we need to improve, and I am counting on your support to improve this area, which is so important, the junior minister said. Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Premier's office, Mrs. Carolyn Stout-Igwe, in welcoming the members of the board, informed them of the ongoing reform process in light of the implementation of the Commission of Inquiry recommendations. She therefore highlighted the importance of getting things right from the beginning, understanding where the Tourist Board stands, as well as its priority areas. She said, and I quote, "I was able to listen to you during your interviews and hear your passion when it comes to the BVI tourism product. I am really counting on you," she said, "as you have a strategic role to play. I take this opportunity to remind you that you are here to make a difference, and I look forward to working with you." The chairman of the newly appointed board, Mrs. Delma Maduro, and the members are as follows: Mr. Andrew Ball, Mrs. Keisha Davis-Barnes, Mr. Gregory Callwood, Mrs. Dorcas Foy, Mr. Orrin Hodge, Mr. Alan Parker, Mrs. Sharoma Penn Maduro, Mr. Miles Sutherland Pilch, Mr. Henry Prince, Ms. Lorraine Wheatley, Mr. Dean Foy, Managing Director of the BVI Ports Authority, Mr. Clive McCoy, Director of the BVI Tourist Board, Mr. Kurt Mino, Managing Director of the BVI Aviation Authority, Mrs. Carolyn Stout-Igwe, Permanent Secretary in the Premier's office. The BVI Tourist Board was established under the Tourist Board Ordinance. Under the portfolio of the Premier's office, the board's role is to promote, foster, and encourage tourist investment within the Virgin Islands, utilizing measures and strategies as deemed fit. Viewers, when 284 News returns, agriculture and fisheries officials are inspired, they say, at a recent conference to improve the agriculture sector in the Virgin Islands. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch and you say you were sick? What happened to over the rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
Alright, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI Love.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Why? This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this thing like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon. Paw Patrol. I am Hook. Hook, I tell you.
Viewers, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Collaborating with regional and international partners, improving data collection, making data-driven investments, and implementing structured farm programs are just a few keys said to be able to improve the agriculture sector. Now, this statement is according to Permanent Secretary within the Premier's office, Mrs. Carolyn Stout-Igwe, whose portfolio includes agriculture and fishing. The Permanent Secretary and Director of Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Theodore James, recently returned from Oxford, United Kingdom, where they attended the 21st Review Conference hosted by the Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International from the 27th to the 28th September 2022. Mrs. Stout-Igwe said, and I quote, "We have indeed returned with a greater zeal for the agriculture sector. The conference was a great networking opportunity and helped us to gain a deeper appreciation for the work that CABI has been doing throughout the world." P.S. Stout-Igwe said she was inspired by the capacity building opportunities through the CABI Academy, access to research and learning in agriculture, the environment, and the applied life sciences that are available through the CABI Digital Library, as well as the Crop Apps Index that provides digital tools that support decision-making in crop production and plant health. Director Mr. Theodore James said, and I quote, "The conference strengthened my position on the steps the Virgin Islands needs to make in taking agriculture to the next level. One important lesson from the conference is the importance of building the necessary infrastructure to support the farming community. Additionally, there is an opportunity for farmers to further improve in the area of selecting suitable crops, improving planting schedules, developing pest and disease management plans, improving their record-keeping abilities, and being creative with value-added ideas." Now, on Monday, 26 September, delegates attended a networking dinner hosted by Dr. Richard Shaw, Senior Regional Director, Caribbean and Central America. 2 packed days followed with keynote addresses and panel discussions on various topics, including innovation to respond to climate change risk to plant health, increasing the reach, application, and impact of science in agriculture and the environment, and improving the food security and livelihood of smaller hood communities, reducing the inequality through better opportunities for rural women and youth, how to safeguard biodiversity and support the sustainable use of natural resources, other agenda items including a report on the progress of CABI's medium-term strategy and the approval for the medium-term strategy for 2023 to 2025. Mrs. Stout-Igwe stated that the conference reinforced the need for the Department of Agriculture as well as Fisheries to be staffed with the requisite technical officers in order to make a greater impact in promoting food security and sustainability. She said she is looking forward to partnering with Director James to share some of the knowledge and information gained with the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries team. CABI is a non-profit intergovernmental department and information organization which focuses essentially and primarily on agriculture and environmental issues in the developing world and creation, of course, curation and dissemination of scientific knowledge. With over 100 years experience working in agriculture and the environment through its projects, CABI works in partnership with member countries, donors, and partners to help farmers grow more and lose less, combat threats to agriculture and, of course, the environment, and improve significantly the access to scientific information. On the regional scene, the Antigua and Barbuda government has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with CFA Global, a subsidiary of regional company Caribbean Tourism Group, which has resulted in the creation of a new Liat for international flights. According to regional news sites in Antigua and Barbuda, the agreement was signed in St. John's last Friday between Antigua and Barbuda's Minister of Works and Finance, Lennox Weston, and the chairman of CTG, Mr. Ma Chow. The airline, and I quote, said Liat International is expected to provide services using small, medium, and large aircrafts including Airbus A330, Airbus A320, and ATRs. Now, the aforementioned airplanes will service the Caribbean and South America region, in addition to international travel routes from Europe, which is expected to bring an influx of tourists and business travel from Asia, with Antigua as the gateway. Now, the news is said to have come following the recent attempts by the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union to discuss outstanding severance pay for former employees totaling approximately 120 EC, which is approximately 44 million US dollars. Liat 1974 Limited has been in administration since July 2020 and has been operating at a reduced schedule with a limited workforce since November of last year. It is now set for liquidation. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com, and of course, like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. Of course, be sure to tune in at 8 p.m. for a special report and visit our website and our other social media platforms for interviews and contacts. In addition to that, I'm Ron Grant. I will see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and of course, international content. We are 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news right here on 284 Media. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Jos Van Dyke, not forgetting Antigua. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Brilliant Hands and Minds tutoring services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. hook, I tell you.